Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host Paolo, and today I'm joined by my very own X-Force, Matthew, Kyle, and UncleLou.
Oh, when you call my name, it's like a little prayer.
Down on my knees. Listen, I'm gonna tell you something about this movie, okay?
So we're talking about Deadpool.
We're talking about Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yeah.
NSYNC's Bye 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 has been living rent free in my head for the past 3 days, and I'm about to lose. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. Okay? I can't get it out. I can't get it out.
I'm just thinking of Bonnie Tyler all the time, so I'm good. So today's episode, we're going to be talking about Deadpool 3, Deadpool and Wolverine.
Yes.
We're going to give our general thoughts, what we thought of the movie, and then we're going to dive deep into spoilers because, my God, there's a lot to talk about here for spoilers.
There is indeed, yes.
So we're going to start off with general thoughts. Like, I'll begin. I kind of overhyped this movie in my head. I was treating it as like it was going to be the second coming of Christ. Like, I thought it was going to be like this big epic thing, but in reality, it was just a perfectly fine movie. It was like a perfect 7 out of 10, you know, like
This movie is
Wow.
this
That's
is
an
strong
unpopular. That's a very
opinion.
unpopular opinion.
Yeah, I felt it was like a dream.
Okay.
There was no end and there was no beginning.
Mm-hmm.
You were there with me.
I was.
It was like a dream. Now let the choir sing when you call my name.
It's like a no.
But honestly, I loved it. I enjoyed it from the moment we were sitting, Marvel credits rolling, and I thought somebody was talking behind me, but it was actually Ryan Reynolds mumbling the Marvel theme. Like that.
You know what's so funny? I was literally mumbling the Marvel theme in that very moment with my girlfriend, and then he started doing that, and it was perfect.
and you were behind him.
And I was also behind him.
I was just watching.
I loved it every moment. There was a few that were dull to me when it came to the very sappy parts. I looked over at Kyle and was like, really? They're saying this to each other again for the third time? But overall, I love the cameos. I love the Easter eggs. I love the special effects, the fighting scenes. I love the drop of Stan Lee in the movie. Everything. I first movie since Quantumania. I know that's a controversial opinion.
Wow.
That I enjoyed.
Damn.
We have a rule against ranking those crap movies on this podcast. Like,
Look, we're the podcast of bad takes. I mean, to be fair, so.
For me, what worked the most, I think, was the humor. I was blown away by how hilarious this film was, truly. Some of the action, actually not some of the action, most of the action except for one specific key sequence, I thought was so well filmed, so well choreographed, mind-blowing at times and quite epic. Look, I think seeing the reunion of Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman after all this time, bringing Hugh Jackman back, what they did with that character, I think was a great service to him. And just, you know, what I really loved about the movie the most, I think, was this great tribute to the bygone Fox era of Marvel films. You know, that early 2000s period where they were still trying to like get things going and figure things out. But these were the films that I think, if they had never existed, the MCU never would have been a thing. And if that makes sense, they did a lot of the groundwork. Despite some iffy quality here and there. But I do think, though, still for a non-spoiler kind of side of my review here, my take, I do think the story was perhaps a tad underwhelming, underdeveloped. I think the movie does at times feel like a collection of really, really awesome scenes and moments kind of strung together in a very, very thin plot.
It's no Endgame, it's no Infinity War.
But a lot of people feel that way about it.
I think they're wrong.
I agree with that, honestly. It's just,
I also agree.
But there'll never be another Endgame or Infinity War. That's the thing.
Stay tuned, Avengers Doomsday coming out May 2026.
Unless they decide to change the title again.
We'll see, I don't know about that.
I didn't get that it was a massive Fox tribute until pretty much the end credits, in all honesty. Like, I understood that they were aiming for that, hence why they made certain selections, but I felt like they could have done more with that. As for things they did well, I think they handled the idea and like the meta humor of a transition from Fox to Disney fairly well. like it's no secret. I'm not a big fan of meta humor, especially like considering how She-Hulk handled it. I was not happy with it. So with Deadpool, I was kind of like nervous at how they were gonna handle it, but I found that they did it a lot better.
I agree with that point though, that they really nailed it with embodying Deadpool as a style of telling a story for Disney. I think it was their first time, plus it was the first time dropping so many F words in like the first 30 minutes of the movie, where it was considered a rated R within the first minute because he dropped 2 F-bombs.
Well, that was the script, right? It was like Wolverine's script, which was,
I do feel like while I could appreciate a good F-bomb, I do think there was perhaps an over-reliance on it. And when you say the F word a little bit too much in a
Wait, bro hasn't been in our basement?
No, but it's just like, if you have like Logan, let's say, dropping the F-bomb like 4 or 5 times in a single sentence, it's almost as if like you're trying to fill in the gaps of words you're missing.
Yeah,
just simply with the F word.
That's what is for, bro.
No, but that's exactly honestly what they did, right?
And I do feel that, like, so look, I'll take the F bombs, but I think when you overdo it a little bit too much, it loses its sense of
feel like that's
potency.
I truly feel like that's what this movie was. There was one really good line. I want to say it, so don't be spoilers, but the best line in the movie got repeated 4 times. Each of them say it twice in the movie. Like, it was so good that they have to like throw it in other places. You know what I mean?
Which line?
It was an educated wish. Okay. Dude, no script should have the same sentence.
I said it like twice.
No.
That's what I was telling, that it was the 3rd time Kyle and I both turned to each
I was
other.
straight away, I was like,
And we're just looking at each other like, oh.
because it was
my
good,
God.
and then by the time I hear it 4 times, I'm like, no, I hate it. You know what I mean? Now it's like they knew it was good and copy pasted. Like
It worked the first time,
That's how
the
you make
second,
bad
and then
music.
at the end, the last time. That's when it worked for me.
here's something I do think they did fantastic. It's the promo push has been like probably and the marketing and the
Some of
promotion
the best marketing I've ever
has
seen.
been like some of the it's overdone obviously but there's no one who hasn't seen it, and that's a good job. Like
But a lot of that too is probably, well, first of all, I think Ryan Reynolds is one of the greatest marketing dudes of our time. Like, the guy is a total genius. His sense of humor, his creative wit, everything. And I think he has such a good relationship with so many people that he's able to just pull strings and just be like, hey, can we do this? I think this would be fun. And then obviously everybody knows that this movie is going to be gigantic. I mean, there were early projections that the movie was going to make 160 to 190 million domestic opening weekend. And I'm like, no, I think it's going to shatter those records. So we're going to
Didn't
see now
it?
we're filming. I think it did.
I remember I saw something like 300, 400 million or something.
No, it would be
For the weekend.
domestic. Worldwide, yes, it hit 400.
Okay.
But anyway, we're filming this Sunday night, so there's still some box office that needs to be reported. But this movie is absolutely annihilating everything.
I'm just overdone with the marketing, man. I don't like seeing a movie before I enter the movie theater.
Louis, are you upset because you didn't get a bucket head? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah.
Someone sponsored this guy a bucket head or something. Like he's upset about it.
The Wolverine one.
Yeah, the Wolverine bucket, the popcorn bucket. You know?
Yeah, they're all sold out, man. We went there at night, went to Cineplex Forum, and by the time we got there, it was sold out, man.
Guys, when are you guys at home? Send my Uncle Lou a bucket because he deserves it. He's a good guy.
This is very good, man. There's a lot for the show.
He does a lot for sure. Actually, on that note, check this out. What you guys think? New coasters.
Reference point.
Reference
podcast,
point coasters. We're moving up in the world. Now the bottom of our coffee is branded, and that's important to us.
What did you guys think of the costumes? What did you think of seeing Wolverine in the yellow outfit again?
I liked
Not
it.
again for the first time, sorry, in live action.
I liked it. I
Hit
thought
on
it
the
looked
nose.
good.
This is going to be one of the first positive things I say. It's pretty dope. It's pretty
You
dope.
liked it, yeah?
I thought it looked really good.
Okay. There is an element to the costume that I want to talk about in the spoiler section.
I swear to God, we talked about this in our basement.
What,
You're lucky Anthony's not here to rip you.
What?
So, spoilers.
Okay, so look, we're going to move on to our spoiler
So,
section.
Kyle, what do you want to start with?
I'm giving you 5 seconds. Warning. Run to your phone if you left it in the bathroom somewhere while you're taking a dump. Listen. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds, 2 seconds.
That your pants. Okay, seriously, I think they really dug up a bunch of dead bones in the grave. Okay, and they just
Literally.
literally, they dug up a bunch of dead bones in the grave. Some that were good, Most of them were garbage, honestly. And they brought them as garbage. They showed up on into the movie as garbage, and they're leaving still garbage in my heart.
I absolutely love what they did with the opening title sequence in this movie.
Yeah.
Deadpool needing to
Desecrate Logan's
grave, even though they said we're not gonna shit on Logan, we're not gonna undo what happened, and they don't, but in a sense they do in pure Deadpool fashion.
To be fair, it's
And I
not
love
really
it.
undoing. He's still dead. He just got his fucking corpse taken up,
mutilated,
and used as like fucking killing
What an
tools.
incredible sequence. Again, to NSYNC's Bye Bye Bye, which again has been stuck rent-free in my head.
Great intro.
I think, like you guys said earlier, the first 30 minutes were like fantastic. Even though I may have seen some of the scenes, the filler in between was so crazy. The fight scene, the dialogue, the transitions of all the Wolverines, and him finding the final, right? That everything was so crazy. I loved it. The music choices, as you say, Bye Bye Bye, or
Great soundtrack.
what's
The
the
soundtrack was very solid.
power song for Back to the Future? Power
Power
of
of
Love.
Love. Yeah.
Like,
During the Wolverine, yeah. So speaking of the Wolverine kind of like montage, what an outstanding sequence. I love. So who did we see?
We saw Henry Cavill Wolverine. That was the big one.
Officially named the Cavalrine, which is just hilarious. So that was totally unexpected.
It had the
Age of Apocalypse Wolverine,
yeah.
the one with
Missing arm.
the missing hand. That was really cool, and that 80s hair.
Wolverine on the cross.
Wolverine on the Cross,
Classic.
which is the cover of 251, I believe, of Uncanny X-Men. Iconic cover.
Hulk versus Wolverine.
Hulk versus Wolverine, recreating the famous McFarlane cover where, you know, he's drawing the claws and then you see a Hulk in the reflection of the claws. That brown and tan John Byrne costume on screen, I thought looked way cooler even than the yellow
and
costume.
blue.
Because I
Agreed.
think the yellow and blue, they had to over-design it a little bit just because they need to create their own movie version of the costume. But they rely on too many lines and make it too bulky in certain places.
So like a typical MCU costume.
But there was something, yes. Well, no, not always. No, not always. But there was something so simplistic but elegant about that brown and tan. Even the way it wasn't exactly the comic costume, but it felt modernized and it felt like it would really work on the big screen.
Yeah.
Holy crap, that was great. But anyway, back to the cameos.
Yeah, back to the cameos. Then we had Logan, Old Man Logan.
Old Man Logan looked really cool. Comic accurate Wolverine. Wearing
Oh yes,
5'3" or 5'2", whatever
the
Wolverine.
manlet Wolverine.
Oh my god, when he steps off that bar stool and he's like very short,
It was funny.
hysterical.
Patch.
Patch, that was the other one. Yeah, Patch. We got a glimpse of him. In the
Remember when
trailer.
people thought that was gonna be Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah, I thought that would have been a fun opportunity to give you other actors playing Wolverine, but I appreciate.
But no,
seeing
but
you
he's
drop
on
it.
Fox. He's on Fox material, so you know it's you can't really.
I
take it.
thought that was going to be Henry Cavill. I thought he was going to be Patch Wolverine.
Yeah, now we're gonna kind of jump into the first cameo that we see.
Yeah.
Deadpool officially entering the MCU and trying to join the Avengers by meeting with the one and only
Happy.
I was gonna say person who's at Stark Tower and then say Happy Hogan.
Well, you gotta let me know.
I gotta do.
You set me up for a successful disaster. That I got it right, but that's wrong.
We're interrupting each other left and right, man. You gotta be prepared for this.
I was trying to build up for the audience, but it's okay. Happy Hogan was
Love
the first cameo. It was really fun. I really liked the scene how they integrated him and how he was basically giving him like a job interview. I thought that
Yes.
was really funny.
Yes.
The Easter eggs in that office,
Awesome
Yeah.
stuff, yeah.
all around. And did you catch the Spider-Man one? Where
Yes.
They couldn't actually show Spider-Man or Peter Parker.
Yes,
So
exactly.
what they did is because Kevin Feige confirmed that
Oh, yeah.
the Iron Man mask
Toy
was
helmet from Iron Man.
was
for the kid,
Peter
yeah.
Parker as a kid. They put it right in front of his pictures.
I think what I loved about that scene the most is you get a glimpse of kind of Wade's motivation for life, but how at that point in time it's perhaps for the wrong reasons. At least with the Avengers, like Happy Hogan says it best. I think you need the Avengers, but that's not how it works. It's because you're an Avenger because the world needs you, kind of thing. You know.
There's the one cameo I really enjoyed thoroughly was Wade.
Yeah.
Seeing him walk in and he's like, you can't say the R word. He's like, what? Retarded?
Yeah, he literally. I was crying because I was like, never in my life did I ever think I was gonna hear Wesley Snipes say retarded in like 2024.
Disney movie. After woke period, saying the R word. Whoa!
So I love that idea that, you know, without a single anchor being, that entire universe over time slowly starts to decay and will cease to exist and go to the void, you know? Like that timeline is essentially self-pruning itself because a single individual who was so important to that universe is no longer there. And we find out that, you know, it was Logan, which is why he went to go dig up the bones, blah, blah, blah.
The only thing that was weird about it was like they're saying that, yeah, but that timeline dies over the course of thousands of years.
Yes.
But it's like, so is that really just a timeline self-correcting, or is it just like the worst way to say it is just time going on? Like, does that really matter? It feels like such a weird moot point.
I guess.
It. Chris Evans shows up, and
That's part of the whole movie in my opinion.
honestly, it actually gave me such a big smile on my face.
Look, dude, the second there's a guy in a cloak, I'm like, that sounds a lot like Chris Evans. He's got to be in this movie. You know, unmasks himself, whatever. It is Chris Evans. People lose their freaking minds in the theater. But everyone thinks it's still Steve Rogers.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, this is paying tribute to the Fox bygone era. Of course it's going to be Human Torch. Of course he's going to say Flame On. But of course Deadpool thinks he's about to say Avengers Assemble. And he does that. He says Flame On, he takes off. But that, to me, even though I was expecting that to happen, that hit so goddamn hard for me.
That was the twist of the movie, essentially.
It was a great twist.
I'm not gonna lie, that Flame On was like my soy moment where I was like,
but people were genuinely shocked. And they really thought
It was better than the ending.
It was better than?
Yeah, I feel like that moment was significantly better than the ending of the movie.
the end credits or like the ending.
No, the ending, it did like that whole Ali G.
That was just a huge hater.
Ali G. You ever see Ali G movie? They all link up hands, spread electricity. Like that's what I felt like it was like.
Kyle's role in this episode is being the Marvel hater that hates everything post Endgame.
Dude, no.
Is that he hates everything post Endgame, but the problem is now people actually genuinely love this movie.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah.
More than anything,
Yeah.
I love Logan. I think Logan is the best Marvel movie. I don't even care who made it, okay? I just think this lacks story. I think it's this is a guy who has no personality but drives a Ferrari. You know what I mean? Like he lacks there's nothing to it. It's just flashy lights and superhero cameos who can't fight properly, they don't have time to act.
Can't run through walls.
X23 is fantastic. The girl's she's a good actress. There's no space for her. You didn't see not much from her. Like they're so packed with these things.
Yeah.
There were some really good actors in it. But what do they have space to do? They don't have space to do anything because you got people like Gambit with 20 lines in a movie where I don't know. It's not distributed properly. It doesn't make sense. It's all clickbait. It's all pop culture references. I'd like to see the script for this movie versus the script for any other Marvel movie. I'm sure Morbius had a bigger script than this, dude. And that was f***ing garbage, I'm just saying, it's just
That's a hot take.
It's a little bit of flashy lights, dude. It's like a little bit of what's the twist?
Jiggling keys.
Where is the twist? It was the same story. It's the same story as Loki, in the same place as Loki. They're trying to get out and save their world. It's two people who don't like each other who come together. It's the same story.
But I'm gonna just dial it back a bit to what you said with the bad fights. That leads to my fourth cameo, Sabretooth from the original X-Men. That fight was so fucking underwhelming. They even addressed in the movie, they said, people have been waiting 20 years for this. And it's the best you gave us was a fucking samurai tribute. I get how it looks cinematic, but
I like it.
Look, you're giving us a fucking schlocky movie. This movie is schlock. It's a
Whatever
casual
schlock
thing.
means.
So why are you trying to do the pretentious fight? Give us a fucking tear down. Give us something. There's so many great fights you could have pulled from for Sabretooth and Wolverine. Why did you just have to do the samurai route?
What did you think of the introduction to Cassandra Nova as a villain? Did you like her?
I thought she was a great villain to introduce, but I didn't think she was executed right.
Okay.
The writing didn't support her. She was a mix between maniac and seeking power, but then she has the power to weave. But it's just I didn't feel what her intentions were clear of what she really wanted.
I could say, well, yeah, I think what she ended up ultimately wanting was just to prune every other universe so that I could then go to the void and she could control everything. I don't find that super compelling, to be honest.
Yeah,
It is very like, yes, villain, I'm a villain, yes, I want to control the world. I don't know, I'm like over this.
Yeah, the villain's lacking, in all honesty.
What I do like about Cassandra Nova is the visual of seeing her control one's mind.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Fingering people.
Fingering people's, fingering people's brains and stuff. I love that because if you really think about it, her brother Charles kind of does the same thing, but the way they portray that visually is different. It's more menacing, it's more villainous. But Charles kind of feels a lot like that too. Right?
Now we move on to the next cameo.
Which is?
Nice pool.
Nice pool. What'd you guys think of nice
Love it.
Canadian Ryan Reynolds Deadpool?
I found it funny. It was like he reminded me of like this weird fucking yoga instructor. Like that's what the vibe he gave me. And then he got dog pool too. I liked that he was just so passive aggressive, and like it's like he's nice, but like not really in a sense. He's just like he's basically like a low key.
He's Canadian.
Exactly. All right, now for the real next cameo. This is a threefer. Elektra, Blade, Channing Tatum, Gambit. Seeing Blade come back made me so fucking happy, especially like later when he says on the fight, "Mother still trying to skate uphill." I was so happy he said it. It actually was like the only time where I was like, "Yeah!" in the theater. We also had Elektra. It was weirdly nice seeing her in a kind of nostalgic way, because you always make fun of like the Elektra movie, and yeah, there's not really much else we could say there
I'm
about
just a
it.
big Jen Garner lover, and I think that joke about Daredevil not making it, and then she's like, "No, it's okay, don't worry about it." Again, this movie works. I find so much better if you truly understand the pop culture references, truly understand that yes, Ben Affleck, who was her ex-husband in real life, played Daredevil, and the fact that he died and she says that, "Don't worry about him," it just that makes that joke land so much better.
So yes, it's so true that Ben Affleck got divorced from Jennifer Garner. That's a pop culture reference.
Speaking of the cameos, you know, when Laura X-23 sits down at the campfire, right? And then when we finally get Wolverine's backstory, what did you guys think about that? What did you feel? Did it impact you in a way? Did you feel underwhelmed? Did you buy the motivation as to why he was considered the worst Wolverine of any universe?
When he reveals what happened, I was just kind of sat there. I was like, "That's it." Well, like we didn't even see it. He just explains it, and the way he explains it, it's like one of those things where it's like, I feel like it would have had much more of an impact if we saw it rather than have him describe like, "Oh yeah, I came back from the bar drunk, I stumbled in, everyone's dead."
But it wasn't just that, there was more to it. It's that he started then going berserker, he started killing bad people, but then it didn't stop there, and he started killing innocent people, and then he turned the entire world against mutants. That gets lost a bit because it's just a line of dialogue.
Yeah, exactly. Show it.
News reports of something.
I love the idea of him breaking down his emotions, like kind of sitting in a forest, which is the last place we saw him in Laura kind of thing, you know? Like, I like that.
But it happens a lot, no? Like there's like 3 or 4 times in the entire movie where he's like, it's the same, kind of the same thing, right? He has to break down with one person, and then he has to break down with the other person over, and he has to break down, you know? I feel like there's a lot of copy paste. There's a lot of copy paste. Everything.
Like you mean like the breakdown that he has in the car with Deadpool when he's like spitting out everything, how big of a failure he is and like how useless he is.
Like yeah, there's
And
like
Deadpool
there's
is
different.
like, "I'm gonna fight you now," and then they have this incredible car fight, which was like mind-blowingly sick. Like that was so.
That was really good. That was
really
great
close
scene.
quarters, great.
That product placement.
The product placement was pretty good too.
Product
Tell you
placement.
that, honestly,
Oh, what a great ongoing joke, man. So look, they invade the compound, whatever. They get back to the Fox universe, and we get this huge Deadpool core moment, right? And I think this scene solidifies truly the way I feel about the movie in 3 major points. Okay.
Loki 2.0, all those Lokis, but now it's all Deadpool.
No.
Same story, right?
Same story.
Point number 1, the scene is hysterical. So the comedy works, right? Point number 2, the action in that sequence, mind-blowing. Incredible sequence. Point number 3,
if you take that scene out of the movie, nothing changes with the movie. You get an epic third act climactic battle that doesn't ultimately mean anything. It's just a scene strung together with other scenes that are all awesome, but that don't fit within a greater story that has impact.
This Deadpool movie is like the Indiana Jones of like the Deadpool movies, where regardless of what happens, we're gonna get to the end.
This is gonna be Deadpool and Wolverine because they're the only ones who can survive
Like
it.
the only time it really had impact was for the ending.
The allergy.
Well, yeah, exactly. The Ali G thing, you know? Things happen, but they don't necessarily push the plot. They're just going along with the plot as it's going.
Easy way to say it, I give it 2 out of 3 chimichangas
Okay.
Okay.
and 4 out of 6 claws.
Okay.
So I was satisfied with it.
I'd give it a 6 out of 10. Definitely worth going to watch with your friends. Had a great time going with all you guys to watch it. Definitely worth going to watch with your friends. Don't let the marketing fool you. It's good. It's not great.
I found the movie was just underwhelming, but at the same time, a perfect pass. I wouldn't say like it's a 7 out of 10 movie, but it has that vibe to it.
So it is my least favorite of the trilogy. Like I said, I'd like to see it again. Most things worked for me, some things didn't. So totally worth watching.
One thing before we wrap up that was truly exceptional though, that after credit scene was Chef's Kiss.
Oh yeah.
Because again, like I said, Chris Evans was like literally my favorite part of the whole movie. And seeing that he didn't necessarily die for nothing and that his words were true the whole time, Deadpool wasn't lying.
That was fun.
That heinous, awful shit that Chris Evans was saying in that footage there at the end.
And it was him
having so much
saying
fun.
it.
Yeah, it was him saying it. He was having so much fun with the role too. Perfect way to end it. You know?
Agreed. Speaking of perfect ways to wrap up, that's the show.
That's the show.
If you like what you saw here, let us know in the comments below. Did you like the movie? Did you hate it? Were you right? Were we wrong? Do you want to rip into us? Please leave a comment.
Please also do not forget to hit that subscribe button. It'll really go a long way in supporting the channel and giving you more great content like this, including the notification bell. Don't forget to ring that notification bell so that you could know whenever we post this great content. Kyle, anything you want to plug?
No, not much. Thanks for having me. I would like to give a shout out to Etienne over there behind the camera, who's doing all the editing, and the rest of the team who lets this beautiful thing happen. So appreciate all of you.
Yeah, like Anthony, who's in Chicago. Right?
Oh yeah, and Anthony in Chicago. Happy birthday, buddy.
You know, before we wrap up, I have to ask, what were you eating?
Cereal.
It's his
What
thing.
kind of cereal?
Pebbles, chocolate Flintstone pebbles, and they were boom. And yeah,
They were boom
they
like.
were boom. They were delicious. Yeah.
UncleLou, anything you'd like to say?
Just thanks for having me, guys. It's always a pleasure seeing the movies with you and having this down movie talk.
Hell yeah, it's always a pleasure having you.
And guys,
Thanks, guys.
don't forget to support your local comic book store. See ya.